Chris, what up?
What's happening, everybody? This is your girl, Valerie. Sister Talk with Valerie, your chocolate smoothie. And we air every Friday on Untapped Music Radio. Now, we do these live streams during the week, but don't forget to tune in to Untapped Music Radio on Fridays at 7:30. It's the bomb. And check it out. You're talking about uninterrupted music all night, all night, all night. Plus
Yeah.
your girl, Miss Chocolate Smoothie. And I have Mr. DJ Get Loose, who is going to be joining us today, along with Mr. Chris Allen, author extraordinaire. Yeah, we had such a good conversation last week about the non-sexual value of women that I thought we needed to do a part 2. So that's why we are here today. So I brought the heavy hitter, Mr. DJ Get Loose.
I don't know why. Why am I the heavy hitter?
Because you're going to bring another perspective, bro. We need all the men perspective, and hopefully maybe a little upcoming we'll have Miss Kia joining us again. So let's jump right into it. So let me just bring you up to speed, bro. Last week, we talked about the non-sexual value of a woman. And Chris held it down for the dudes. He did. Well, he tried. But we was trying to really get to the core of things, right? So I want to continue that conversation and even add a little bit more about how you approach women. Now, I know you are a married, happily married man, bro, but you ain't forget. You know what it's like out here. And I know you got dudes out here. So we're talking about respecting a woman. We're talking about approaching a woman. And we're talking about how men today in 2021, what they define as the non-sexual value of a woman. Hey, Eleanor.
To me, I would say character, loyalty, truth, intelligent conversation. Those are things that, before I got married, those are things I looked for.
So I believe all that is true. So when you see,
like for instance, and this is just me, you know what I mean? And I'm just gonna just put it on the rug. You know what I mean? If I, like me, for instance, if I met a young lady and we was having a conversation and every other word out of her mouth was a curse word and all of that, that's a deal breaker for me. Because of the simple fact that I feel like, mentally, if you have a vocabulary, then you don't need to use those words in order to have a great conversation with someone. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, with me personally, it's not all about physical with me. To a point it is, but, when you're getting to know someone, of course, you look and say, man, she got a big booty and, all that type of stuff. But, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you want to be able to have a nice conversation with someone, and sex not be a blinder for what the conversation should be, or it shouldn't taint what you're trying to create, if you're trying to create anything.
So let's talk about, hey, Mrs. Steve, Guy, Eleanor, cuss words definitely make a woman look bad. Well, and cuss words are not nice, but sometimes you're in that place. But let's talk about even the approach. Let's back it up to the approach, right? And we're gonna have Mr. Chris Allen join in. He is joining us via in transit, right? Let's talk about, I'm gonna give you a perfect example, right? Mm-hmm. A gentleman jumped in my DM today. I don't know this gentleman. I think that at one I might have I think I don't know him. I just know that probably some weeks ago, he had jumped in my DM and said hello. And I said hello. And I was asking him, because I'm an author, how can I help you? Blah, blah, blah. He was just like, I like to help people, whatever, right? Okay, that was the end of the conversation. He jumped in my DM today and said, how you doing, baby?
What's happening?
And what else he say? Hey, what's up, baby? Something right from jump. I'm not your
Wrong.
baby. You don't know me like that. That's so disrespectful to me. Is
Wrong.
that me? Because I'm noticing that a lot of guys now, they could just meet you today and you baby tomorrow. Now, if we've had some conversation, I'm talking about, I don't know this man from Adam. And that's
When
how
you,
he jumped in my DM.
once you, it's okay to go there once you establish a rapport with the woman that you're trying to hook up with or even be friends with. You know what I mean? Once you establish a rapport with them, then I would think it's okay to say that. But for an initial meeting, just jumping in the inbox, hey baby, wrong approach. Wrong approach. That's disrespectful. You don't know if the young lady is married. You don't know if she's in a relationship. You don't know if she has a fiance. You don't know what the case is. So to
Even
automatically,
even if she wasn't married,
right,
Chris.
right. I was going to say that's just it's the wrong approach. Period.
Let me tell you exactly what he said because I pulled it up. Good morning to you, sexy, and how are you, baby? What?
He's he's a sucker. No, let me stop.
Chris Allen, you with us? All right, let me get some comments from the audience. I don't know what Steve Guy is saying by saying they good sometimes. My sister Gloria said you might miss your blessing judging the female. The true character of a black king is to lead. Oh, I want Gloria, don't be hiding the comment. A true character of a black king is to lead. Solomon was a wise man that Sheba came to for counsel. Eleanor says, in general conversation, I keep it ladylike, um, and speak on it, little sis. Very true. Yeah. So the true character of a black king is to lead. And that's one of the things that this is how this conversation got started because we were talking about what R.C. Blakes was saying. Oh, here's Miss Kia Kelly about the hello, Kia, about the men being in a place where I lost
Hey,
somebody.
EC.
Oh, I can't hear
I lost Chris. We were talking, and when R.C. Blakes was talking about how women and men were meant to be partners, right? How he feels like women are not valued like they used to be. Women have so many other values. How women should be really insulted when men come at them like they don't have anything else to offer but a sexual, but a big booty and whatever. So we're picking up and doing part two. I don't know why I lost Chris, but because I'm pretty sure we can have up to now. I lost Kia. Okay,
Okay.
so it's me and you, bro, for a minute. They both kind of jumped off. So tell me, if you were out here in the dating world, bro, and I know that you need to be physically attracted to somebody, but my sister brought up a good point about leading. What does leading look like?
Leading looks like being respectful of your mate. Leading looks like um, not taking advantage of someone giving you the last word. Leading is being a man of your house, being a man of God. In my eyes, these are all the things that, from my point of view, being a man of God and leading your household. And even though I have the last say so, I would never take for granted my wife's input on anything. I respect her input and I ask her for her input, even though she says, well, babe, you have the last word. That's fine, but I would never lead you into a blind spot. You understand what I'm saying? I want you to feel safe and comfortable at all times with any decision that I make. And any decision that I make at the end of the day, we're going to discuss it first.
So my sister said that she thinks that R.C. Blake was hard on men. I don't. I think he was right on point.
You know
Um,
what? Here's the thing. I think he was kind of hard on brothers too, but to a certain extent,
in what way?
because because if there are some women out here, and I'm not bashing, so don't get me
No.
wrong. Any women that are here, don't get me wrong, but there are some women that don't leave anything to the imagination. You understand what I'm saying? So if that's all these guys are seeing every time they flip on their phone and pop on Instagram, and the first video they see is a woman twerking, and this is all they see 24/7, 7 days a week. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not that it's okay for them to do that because it's disrespectful, but at the same time, you got to look at
Get what
what's
you.
out there in the
Yeah.
dating world. You understand what I'm saying? If they're dating, that's what you got to look at. If you out there and that's all you seeing, then the morals and the foundation of being a king or a leader is kind of tainted because you don't feel like you have to go that way because if you feel like you throw a couple of dollars up, she gonna drop it like it's hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I feel you there. I feel you there. So Steve Guy says some women devalue themselves.
Right.
Terry agrees. Hi, hey Valerie Madden. And devaluing themselves at Frank Wright. And today's generation, men and women are just ratchet, just in my opinion. Now, at the last week's episode, one of my colleagues watched it. She's younger, and she said, "You know what, Val? My generation, and I'm talking like 20 to 30." She said we are kind of like whatever goes, but she said she was more conservative. So because this is maybe a generational thing, maybe not. I agree with you that if it appears, and that's one of the things that R.C. Blake said as well, that women feel like they have to put themselves out there for men. And maybe that relates to the statement I made about women feeling like men have so many choices, that they have to almost lead with look at my boobs, look at my butt, because it's like this competition. And
Okay. I mean, I get that, but at the end of the day, where's your individuality? Where's your sense
right.
of queen? Where's your sense of queendom? You know what I'm saying?
Well, but who
Because
taught you that? Who taught you that, bro? Because if that is what was
if
taught,
if if you're seeing those things, then what you're doing is you're becoming a society says woman. Society says you got to wear a low cut shirt. Society says you got to wear this short, tight skirt so that your behind is hanging out at the bottom and you can't even bend down to pick up a penny if you drop it. You understand what I'm saying? That you become what society says. But my thing is in your own mind, when do you become an individual and say, listen, I don't have to put my boobs and my behind out there in order to attract attention. You understand what I mean?
I hear you, but I think it begins with number one, it does begin with what you're taught. It does begin with what you
Right.
learn, right?
Yes,
But it
yes
is
it does.
also about what's acceptable. So what it appears is, and I don't want to characterize a whole generation, but it appears that,
Mhm.
especially when you think about my age group and the younger age group, that there is more freedom in how you show up. That
Mhm.
back in the day, we used to have to wear slips. We were
Right,
so self-conscious that if one little thing was hanging out, we was totally covered. These
right.
There are people out here now, and I hate to be general, that they don't care if the
Right.
stomach is flapped over the whatever, if the butt is hanging out the back, if the
They got
nipples is
the
showing, that's cool because that's an outfit right now.
yeah,
So
they got
that's different
the
from when we were growing up. That's like, we're the ones that seemingly, you know, with, just square and we ain't with it because we ain't expressive. This is a generation of expression.
Right. And it really is. And, at the same time, like I said, I just think that, being mindful of who you are and creating your own individuality. You know what I mean? And, for guys too, and I'm not okaying that for men to gawk at women and stuff like that, because that is disrespectful. I mean, like, as a man, I would say the first thing I would say would be, would I want somebody to gawk at my sisters like that? Would I want somebody to gawk at my mom like that? Like, nah, that's not cool. I wouldn't do that. But then too, I'm 54 years old. I'm a whole nother generation.
Generation. Right.
Another generation. But at this, I mean, this generation, they're a lot different than we are. But in a nutshell, I just want to say, I just think they need to have a sense of individuality. And I know I said it a million times, but I just think that we're a parent, we're a business owner, we're many different, we're a plethora of different things, right? But at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm just an individual.
Yeah. So we are individuals, but I also think that and I want to be careful not to blame this whole generation because it's not. What we see on TV, there's images that depict us as sexual beings. And some women feel like, hey, I feel sexy and I want to show my cleavage and I want to show. I don't think there's anything wrong with being sexy, but I think there's a line.
You know what? And it's sad to say. It's sad to say that, if a woman wants to show her femininity and her sexuality, I think it's okay to do that, right? But when you start to go a little beyond feminine or sexy, you get what you get what you put out. You get back
now see right there. Well, let me read the comments, and then I have a comment for that. Steve Guy says we live in very different times. Men and women are different, definitely not like they used to be. This conversation is evident of the differences. Steve Guy said pregnant bellies hanging out like we all want to see your stretch marks. Well, stretch marks can be sexy, Steve. Delivery means a lot. Valerie Madden said beauty is inside and out. A woman can dress sexy without being trashy, Eleanor says. And Terry says, that's right, Eleanor. Good evening, Maisha. But you said, and welcome, Miss Kia. How are you? Terry had some trouble getting on.
Yes.
You said that.
Hey, how are you?
I'm blessed. Thank you very much.
I want to ask this question to Bro, and then Kia, I want you to jump in. You said something. You said, well, if a woman dresses, I guess, too sexy and trashy, then she gets what she gets, right?
I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, right? I'm just saying if there's a woman and she's dressing super provocative, let's say that, right? To the point where our age range may think it's kind of trashy, right? I don't think that she's gonna get, hello, beautiful queen, how are you? Because there's nothing to the imagination for the man. You understand what I'm saying? If she got it all out in front of him in the beginning, then every comment to her, she could go 5 blocks. And before she gets to the 5th block, every comment or everything that's been said to her is not how's your day, or how are you? You look beautiful. Everything is going to be a sexual connotation because of the way she's dressed. It's sad to say that, but that's just the way. That's just what's going to happen because she's dressed like that. You understand what I mean? And I think that's wrong. I think it's super wrong to just generalize and judge from the beginning, you know, but at the same time, that's just the space that we living in. She won't get 5 blocks without 8 dudes propositioning her. Yo, babe, come to the crib. I can make it rain. Yo, you smoke? Let's get together. Let's drink something tonight. And you know what that means.
Well, I'm gonna give you something to think about, and then I'm gonna get Kia's comments. Let's there's an actress, Jocelyn, that was on Love and Hip Hop, and Jocelyn was always provocative, but dudes was loving Jocelyn. They was loving Jocelyn, like, oh, because the Puerto Rican princess, blah blah blah. Dudes say that, oh, I ain't gonna respect nobody that's being too provocative. However, the tongues usually be hanging for the women that are provocative. Kia, your thoughts? Know what? I'm gonna let you think about that for a minute, bro. Miss Kelly.
So the question is, how should a woman dress? Is it
not necessarily how a woman dress, but we were bro was talking about that. Because we're talking about the value of woman beyond sexuality, that women who dress provocatively, maybe they warrant, you know, the disrespect that they get might be because of how they dress. Because I was telling him how a dude came in my DM that I don't know, talking about baby and sexy, and I find that disrespectful. Now, other women might not find that disrespectful. I do, because you don't know me.
Well, you know, I think it goes back to what I was saying last week, or when we talked about both men and women understanding our accountability and responsibility in valuing women. So you can have a Beamer, a nice car, that very valuable. Just because it gets dirt on it or it's covered in a different way does not lessen the value of that expensive car. It's still expensive. Now, there are people who won't value it the same or understand its value or take care of it in the same way that other people will, but that doesn't change the value of that vehicle. And it's the same thing with women. Like, women are valuable, period. Whether you dress them in provocative clothing or not, that does not change the value of that woman. But I think so. It's still men have an accountability to show women respect, regardless, especially if they call themselves respecting themselves as men. Now, for women, I think it's important to understand that society is going to react and respond to you a certain way depending on how you dress. But the value of a woman is neither made more or less valuable by what she puts on herself externally.
And I agree with you 100%. But at the same time, still, you know, as sad as it is, brothers are that's just what they're gonna do. That's just how they're gonna act. That's just how they're gonna react. And it's sad that it's like that because, you know, like I said, every woman is a queen. Every woman is a queen. Every woman deserves to be respected in the utmost. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a woman, man, listen, what? Listen, a woman, if you have a great woman, you are a great man. Behind every man is a great woman. And once you have a great woman in your life, you have it all. And you have to be mindful. You have to be respectful. You have to know at all times how to move, when to move. If you're leading, you have to know how to lead in order to make sure that she feels safe at all times. I mean, it's just there's a plethora of different things, but at the same time, I know that it's a generational thing at this point, and at this point,
it's not necessarily generational. Let me get some comments from the audience. Steve Guy says a woman's character amplifies her sexiness, not the clothes she wears. She can have
Exactly.
on jeans and a t-shirt and be the sexiest woman in the world. Absolutely. Terry says, but Val, look at the show you're talking about, Love and Hip Hop. The show itself, in my opinion, is very disrespectful and stereotypical of Black people. Eleanor agrees with Kia. Terry says, the society says, show like the society says people out here. Steve says a disrespectful woman gets nothing but ignored by me. I just move in a different direction. And Terry, at the end of the day, in a perfect world, Kia would be right, but unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. So I'm not going to necessarily blame it again on the generation, because there are some adults my age, that men, male and female, that are come disrespectfully, right? Some women disrespect themselves, some women disrespect men, some men disrespect themselves, some men disrespect women. I don't think it's necessary. Now, this is a different generation in
That's
terms
what
of being fluid and free.
Right.
Fluid and
Right.
free. I think those are the words, free and fluid.
Right.
And so we were more, I think, reserved and conservative, the baby boomer generation. And so now I think there's this expressive thing. So that means what I wear, who I have sex with, what I do. But where is the standard, or is there a standard? Chris, thank you for coming. Welcome back. I know you were having some challenges. Would you like to jump in?
Oh, absolutely.
Is my question. Is there a standard?
A standard for
Respect. A standard, how a woman presents herself, a standard of how a man respects a woman or approaches her.
see, I really just feel like people have gotten to a place where they want attention and they want to be accepted. So however that goes, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get that attention or be accepted or be, to be in a place where somebody's liking them or showing them some type of attention. And so if that means for some people, hey, I gotta dress slutty or I gotta do whatever it takes. That's what I want right now. So it's more kind of based on where that individual is at that point in time in their lives. And two, again, over a period of time, no matter, I'm not saying this for everybody, but your level of acceptance or character kind of breaks down so you can be able to fit in. But for me, although I am married, I am in a relationship. I see it a lot where women go, it seems like they go out their way cosmetically, to put themselves in a position, but they don't want to be looked at as sex objects. But when they're out, their character displays that, you're in a sex object. Your conversation is more on the lines of trying to be accepted by these men out here and things of that nature to be seen. I never really particularly went for that type of thing. It was more for me, your character. It was based on who you are, based on how you move, based on your conversation. And if it's not aligned and where I am or where I'm going, I can't rock with you like that.
Facts.
You say that women do that for attention. What about Kia? Why can't there be women out here that it's not about a man? They just want to look good. They just like, to feel sexy. Why does it have to be for a man? You know, okay, you could, if you looking, you looking, but why can't women say, look, I want to dress like this because I like me. I want to get my hair done. I want to get my nails done. These are things I do for me. Why can't that be the case?
It can.
I want to address
Yeah,
that too.
are you dressed today with your hair and that cute t-shirt for a man?
All the men. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, and I think men, and I don't want to generalize because I don't like when men generalize women. But I think it's hard for men to think that, to fathom a world where women's identity and thought pattern is not formed out of their need for a man's attention. And it's not, you know, a lot of women like being sexy, like to feel sexy. They can get sexy and stay in their own house all day and feel great. You know, put a whole full face of makeup on and stay in their house all day because it makes them feel beautiful. It's the adornment of the jewelry and the makeup and those things, which is fine, to each his own. I think when we having this conversation about the non-sexual value of a woman, I think it's important to talk about what are those things that are not external that makes a woman valuable. And again, I'll say that this is an important conversation for both men and women to have. Like, I know a lot of people, like Uncle Frank was saying, guys are just not going to think any differently. Why not? You know, it's time for that to change. Like, I always have thought of or taught my son, just like I'm teaching my daughter, you respect a woman, period. I never want to see my son treating a woman disrespectfully and then using the excuse, well, she was one of those women or one of them hoes or one of this or that because she was wearing this or she was carrying herself disrespectfully or she was sleeping with this guy and that guy. That is, you know, a lot of people do different things based on different traumas, based on different experiences in life. That does not give anyone the license to look down on or disrespect anyone. So I feel like regardless, again, I'll say regardless of what a woman is wearing, that does not diminish her value as a woman. I think we've been taught that as a society for a long time. You either have the bad girl and she needs to be, you don't look at her the same, you don't treat her the same. And then there's the good girl and you elevate her. But meanwhile, you have men desiring, lusting, wanting the bad girl, but you know, in front of everybody else, it's the good girl they want. And it's just that dichotomy that just, it's really just the ways in which we have to unpack some of the ways that we think as a society as a whole and take some accountability and take some reflection on the way that we place people on a hierarchy. And I hate hierarchies of worth, meaning, oh, if you do this, then you're valuable. Oh, you do this, so you're less valuable. Like, we have to see each other as humans. Whenever you get into the pattern of devaluing a person based on a set of thoughts or what they're supposed to be and do, it's a very dangerous thing. That is a reason why a lot of women are victimized, abused, raped, whatever, because of the same thought pattern that says a woman that dresses a certain way, in a sense, is not as valuable or should be diminished as a woman. It gives people license to not only look at that woman in a certain way, but then treat that woman a certain way. Oh, I can abuse her. I can cuss at her. I can rape her. I can violate her because look at how she's dressed. Look at how she talks. Look at how she carries herself. That's a dangerous thing. So it's kind of like, as men and as women, we need to start seeing one another and ourselves as valuable, period.
Now, that's some great points, right? And I think if every man got back to the point where no matter how he views or thinks about a woman, if you can go back and say to yourself, that's somebody's mother, that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's family member or something of that nature, That's why I don't treat people in specific or certain ways. I don't care how you dressed but your actions tell me a lot. I don't have to deal with you if that's not matching my energy or the accord or where I'm moving to. And I think we just have to get back to the place of when you talk about the non-value of sex dealing with a woman, look at all the great things that she has to offer. You talk about her mind, her intelligence, her energy, her spirituality, her loyalty, her trust, her support. So there's a lot of things that we have to actually get back to looking to see what you are. And sometimes if you look thinking of somebody in that way, like there's a lot of crazy values in yourself. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like your mind is not in the right place right now. If this is what you really think about an individual or somebody. And I think we just have to get back to everybody's human. Everybody is not going to be who you think they are, vice versa. It takes time. It takes conversation, to really, and you have to search yourself to find out what it is that, how you're going to present this up and carry yourself, who you going to attract and vice versa.
Yeah. And I also think, so some of the comments in the comment section talks about the men's perspective and commercialized women like Carly B and Nicki and Megan, how they're popular. And my sister Catrice talks about because they're commercial. Terry says because they're commercialized, and why do men seem to be gravitated towards those type of women? Because we know that sex sells. Absolutely, sex does sell. My cousin Eden says, "Have class behind your ass." I know that's right. And Eleanor says, "That's right. You couldn't have said it better." But so, how do we get to a place, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I know that Kia is right about us having to change our mind. There's so many places where we really got to change our mind, how we see things, right? And so you can't look at people, this one is okay. It's the same way as if a woman said, well, I don't like that man because he driving a hoopty, and valuing a man who's driving a Beamer like they're better. It's the same thing. So how do we then begin to change our mindset? Because when we know better, we tend to do better, but it's even sometimes unfair to judge. I'm going to say whether it's the new generation we've been talking about, because we have to take accountability to show people differently if we feel like there's something that they can do different.
I think that it starts with the value in yourself. I think that you need to be able to be comfortable in your own skin, so to speak.
And that's hard. That's a hard one.
It is hard. It is hard. And I think that, just like to spin off of what Chris said, me, I've always been the type of man that I would never disrespect a woman. I don't call women out of their names. I would never hit a woman. I don't yell and scream and curse. I don't do all of those things because I have a mother and I have sisters. And I think that, I would be super pissed off if somebody did that to my mother or one of my sisters. They would have a serious problem. If they did that to you, if they did that to Kia, if they did that to, you know what I mean? I'm going to fly off the handle because I just feel like if I can be respectful, so can you. And brothers, I'm just saying, and I'm not bashing men. And what I said earlier, as far as, with a woman dressing provocative, what she puts out, she gets back. I didn't say that you know, as a statement to bash women either, right? I'm just saying that, you know, you have to know what your own morals and values are. What's important to you? What morals are important to you? What values are important to you? How you want to be viewed? You understand what I'm saying? If you want to be viewed as Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B, you're gonna dress like that, right? So if you dress like that because sex sells, and they are sex symbols, you know, because every time you see them, they twerking and working it and dropping it and popping it. You know what I mean? So when you see them, all the brothers that interact with them it's about a lusting conversation, right?
Well,
But
now I don't. Let me stop you there, bro. Number one, I don't think it's necessarily always about a lusting conversation. And
um,
two, there are females who feel very confident. You would think they
I'm
appear, but they don't. They don't have that value for themselves. Some of the
right,
most prettiest women in the world don't have that value.
right. And again, I'm not saying that to bash them, but I'm just sis. What I'm saying to you is that men, you know, some men. I'm not going to say all men because I don't view women like that, and Chris don't either. Steve don't. But we are all older. We are all an older generation, right? And we all are respectful and mindful of what we say and what we do, right? But the younger generation of men out here, they um they tend to do things differently, excuse me, than we have. And I just feel like, you know, a woman should be able to wear what she wants to wear. If she feel like she's sexy in a house coat and slippers, if that's her thing and that's how she feels sexy, it's okay for her to do that, right? But at the same time, with the society being the way it is, someone is going to have a maybe a sexual connotation, a negative connotation, or someone might look at it in a positive way. You understand what I'm saying? It's all in the value of the man that's speaking to the woman.
Oh, we
It's
lost
all
Chris again.
it's I think it's all in, you know, what he values, what his values are, or where his values lie.
So I'm going to take a comment, and then in these last 15 minutes, I want to talk about setting the standard. Um, Steve says it's just simply judging a book by its cover, and we all are matured enough to know that that can backfire. Terry says, I think it is the responsibility of both our kings and queens. It's just like how I say that in order to be able to lay in our man's arms, we have to be prepared to give it up. However, my king told me that that's not right, and I shouldn't have to expect that. Therefore, it takes both the male and female to change things. And that's what I want to talk about. How do we set a standard to change things? Because regardless of what, how old you are, what generation you're in, because this is not new. We happen to be maybe some mature people on this platform, but I'm telling
Right,
you, I've
right,
seen 50, 60, 70-year-olds
right.
being just coming at, I don't know what, just like
It's
coming at,
like
and
that.
women too, because what my male friends tell me is that women are out here just as aggressive, just as assertive, just as disrespectful in some matters than the male. So I can't blame it all on the male. It just happens to be for this particular conversation, we're talking about the non-sexual value of a woman. So Kia, let's start with you. How do we begin to set standards?
I think Uncle really said it best a little while ago about it starts with valuing yourself. One of the things that I'm trying to do that has been, I think, my little contribution is really in what I express to my children that's important about how they carry themselves, because I'm raising two daughters and a son. And so my communication to them is, and it's a struggle because there are a lot of images, there is a lot of messaging that goes out to young people. So I'm fighting against that with my daughters and my son. But my message to them is to carry themselves with respect. Like I was taught that my grandmother, and I saw that my grandmother was a classy woman who walked into a room and turned heads because of the way that she carried herself, because of the way that she walked, because of her integrity. And so when I walk, even when I was a young girl, I thought about embodying that, about being that. The same thing with how I've seen my mother carry herself. So I try to be that example for my children in the decisions that I make and how I carry myself and what I dress. But at the same time, telling them that your body is beautiful. It's nothing to be shameful about. And you should not have people make you feel like, oh, I need to cover. And yes, you should cover, but not in the way that it's because you have something shameful. You know, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable in their own skin, or make them feel like somehow they're dirty or there's something wrong with them, when the sickness is actually in the society at large and how they sexualize body. So I think a part of what we need to do is to, like was said earlier, is to rethink how we value people and rethink some of the narratives that we've been telling ourselves or are walking out about sexuality, about self-worth, and all those things.
I think so too. I think that to create change, we have to, like he has said, we have to raise the young ones up that are coming up now and teach them morals, values, respect, you know what I mean? And show them the way. We have to show them the way, you know what I mean? In order for them to catch on. Because I and I don't want to keep bashing, like saying the younger generation, but it's the young guys that are out here now, man. Like, some of the young brothers, they got the pants down around their behind, and and it's just, it's just what is now. And and it's hard for brothers like me. Like, sometimes I try to talk to those young cats, and they, it goes in one ear and out the other, because it's a trend with, it's a trend with this new wave kind of thing, with, the woman being provocative and being able to drop it and all of that. And it's all of the music. It's in a bunch of different things. And I encounter these young brothers a lot of times because I do music, and, this rap music is a young world. You know what I mean? So I encounter these young brothers, and I talk to them, and I try to teach them that, bro, like, your song, you don't have to keep calling the woman the B word. You don't have to, she's not a hoe. Like, that's a queen, bro. Like, that's not the way to be. Like, would you want somebody to call your mom a hoe? You know what I mean? Would you want somebody to call your sister a B? Like, what would you do in that situation? So you got to place yourself in those shoes. So I just think, like Kia said, we just have to start to change. We got to reach out and touch those that we can, that are willing and able to listen.
Steve says that their parents didn't go to the backyard and get that switch like our parents did, and that's why they carry themselves the way that they do. Big Mama used to tear my ass up, and she made sure that I respected her, which in turn taught me to respect. But that's not everybody. This is a different time. There's Big Mamas are different. Big Mamas can be thoughts.
But I think we also have to be mindful that who our children are a direct reflection of who we are. So who the generation that we see around us, they are reflections of how they were raised, what they've seen. And I will sit and watch a movie from 1982 and 1983 and cringe because of the violence and the sexuality that was just like part of the norm.
Right.
So even like with Coming to America Part 2, how they had to revise some of that script to get rid of some of the sexism and some of the messaging, and it just kind of reflected a light on, dang, we have kind of toned it down some, because it used to be really raw. So we got to give the younger generation kind of some slack, because they're reflection of who we are. And I think that more one-on-one conversations and, like you said, demonstration in examples, living out your life as an example, will do more good than anything else at this point. And having those one-on-one conversations, because they really are just a reflection of what they grew up saying.
Right. And you know what? Like,
Chris,
Chris was saying about big mamas.
Yeah, let me jump in here real quick, y'all. Yeah, let me just say this real quick. What I'm also finding out, and why things are turned upside down the way that they are, when we talking about this subject. For one, let's get back to self-love, because the longest relationship you're going to have is with yourself first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know yourself, you're trying to find yourself, you're going to have some bumps and bruises along the way and getting to know who that person is. But bringing that, what really accentuate this value and this value system is a lot of people don't have self-love first. Hurt people. And so when you have the opportunity, whether it's intentional or unintentional, people are going to do that because they have a lot of frustration, anger, hurt, pain in themselves from their lives, so that they reflect that behavior on somebody else. And who's the easiest person to reflect that on? Most times it's somebody else that you know that you can take advantage of, or somebody that you can hurt, or somebody that you can verbally abuse, or carry out your actions in a certain way. We have to address ourselves first in order for this change to take place, because once people are in a better place, they'll be able to see that their behaviors and certain things was not right, it's not cool. And I think we have to go back and take it from that stance as well.
I think so too.
Gio?
Yeah, no, I was saying basically the same thing, that it definitely starts with with self-correction, and then just trying to reach out and lead by example and show these brothers, or brothers and sisters, that we're not, we're kings and queens at the end of the day, and I feel like
people keep supporting that behavior, bro. As long as people keep supporting that behavior, it's going to continue.
It won't change. Right. As long as that narrative is what's up, then it's going to be what's up. That's what it's going to be. Sad to say. Because, a first impression is a lasting impression. So if we were all sitting in a room and a brother came in the room, regardless of him opening his mouth, saying something, and it's sad. But if we were all sitting in the room and the brother came in the room, he got the skinny jeans on, they sagging, and all of that, that first impression of him, we're going to have in our mind like, oh boy, here come one of these dudes. You understand what I'm saying? Which is not cool, because that's judging. He could be the smartest brother. He could be on the road to getting his master's, or whatever the case may be. But the first impression visually, because this day and age, everything is visual. Everything is visual. So if a young brother walked in the room and he's dressed like that, before we give him a chance to open his mouth and say something, we've already drawn a narrative, or already drawn a conclusion of the way he's gonna interpret himself.
And I would just say, and even if he was a bank robber and I dare say a murderer, that does not change that he is a human being. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that same argument happens with you know, brothers and sisters being killed by the police. It's like, oh, well, he was a good kid. That should never come up. Or
Right.
he was on drugs. Who cares? That was a human being. And
that's a human being.
For women, whether they dress in nipple piercings and underwear out in the street, or they got on a nun's outfit. That's
whoa, Niecy, that's a bit much. Nipple piercings and underwear. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, put a shirt on.
And let me tell you something. I went to the concert.
Because we don't know nothing about them.
I went to the Something in the Water concert. I guess it's been 2 years now, and I can't even. People had so little clothes on, but it was a fad. So little clothes on. I mean, it was like different so little clothes that have on.
I know. This is a deep conversation, and it's great. But I want to ask. I want to pose a question to you, to my niece, to my wife, to Eleanor. Okay, you know, I was saying first impression is lasting impression. I was saying about dressing provocative as opposed to sexy, right? Where do women draw the line on what's provocative or what's pleasingly sexy?
Mm.
So we have 5 minutes left, and it sounds like that's going to be a part 3.
Classy sexy.
We could go all day with that. One of the things that I do want to say is that the takeaway for me is that we really begin to rethink how we see people, and that sometimes we need to mentor rather than judge.
Exactly.
That our first observation of people is there's usually something behind that. I walked into the store today, and there was a young lady in there with her whole cheeks out, and my first thought was, oh my God, but my second thought was, I wonder what's going on with her, because I feel like you said, there's either loving yourself, like Chris said, seeking attention, or maybe nobody told her. Sometimes we got to know. People don't tell everybody. You think people should know better, but grown 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old people don't know better. So we got to kind of change our thinking, and be more acceptance. And maybe our charge is to learn to love more and judge less. Maybe that's our charge. If we can get out of our own way, from our own thinking about what's right and wrong, because that's how I was raised and that's how it's supposed to be, then maybe we could start a new trend. But I want to thank all of my guests. This has been great. It seems to me like we got a part 3 and probably a part 4. I want to thank Mr. Chris Allen, who stopped on the side of the road. That's my dude, to come in and talk to us, looking all dapper in his little, I just came from a model pose suit. I want to thank my bro, who I love to life, Mr. DJ Get Loose. Y'all got to check out Mr. DJ Get Loose. He be doing all kinds of funky things. That's the Jersey sound right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a pop-up tonight.
Yeah, what time?
It's the
I'm gonna do it about 9. I'm gonna do it at 9 o'clock. So y'all join in. Hop on my page, because I got some New Jersey sound that I'm releasing tonight. So I'm gonna do a pop-up tonight and play some joints.
Yeah. And of course, I want to thank my God daughter.
Let me
tell y'all something. The Lord did not have to do it, but He blessed me with 2 beautiful, intelligent, wonderful,
yes,
just fabulous queen daughters.
Yes.
Kaya and Talaya is just the bomb jiggity. I'm such a blessed mama. I want to thank you, Kia. I want to thank y'all all for being here.
You know what I want to say? I want to say this. Kia, you are the epitome of a young woman. You are the epitome of a respectful young woman. You walk and shine in the light that you're supposed to, and I applaud your every movement. I love you to life. Keep being great. Keep winning. You hear me? You are exceptionally a beautiful woman. Period, point blank.
Thank you. I think it's my ring light.
Yeah, that was well said.
Thank
That's
you.
well
I just
said.
wanted to say that. She is amazing. She is amazing.
Yes, she is. Terry trying to take
So with that being said, I'm getting ready to get into my phone.
All right. We get ready. Any last,
What
y'all got
happened?
1 second last words. Chris, any last words?
You know, the only last word that I would say is thank you for having me on the platform. And I know I had some things going on, but I did everything I could. I'm here. I'm here to support you. I love the platform. I love the messages that we're trying to give and provide because change is needed. And again, I just look forward to being able to be a part of the discussions and keep this thing moving forward and, you know, this message get out to the world.
Yeah, I know that's right. And me and Chris, we got another book ready to come out together on an anthology. Yeah.
That's right.
EBO. And okay, last words, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, you muted, bro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I
Always.
love.
I want to thank all y'all
I'm
who
sorry.
joined us. My sister Catrice. Oh, he gonna try to
I'm sorry.
DJ right
Hello?
now while this chocolate smoothie is talking. Thank
I'm
you,
not muted.
Eleanor. Thank you, Mr. Steve Guy. Thank you, my sister Terry. Thank you, my cousin Cicely. Thank y'all for joining us. Go ahead, y'all. And this, I'm signing out. Remember, every Friday and Monday through Friday, if you want to, listen to Untapped Music Radio. It is the bomb diggity. But we want to lead us out with some house music. Jersey Girl cannot turn down the house music.
It's in your blood.
Come on, bro. We ain't got but a couple. Hey.
Uh-oh.
What y'all know about that house music? What y'all know? All right, 9 o'clock. He gonna be pumping y'all.
Yeah, it's going down at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Ain't no music like
chicken.
house music. Please believe me.
You got 1 hour to fry your chicken, eat your glass of wine, put the kids down, move the coffee table, and put some powder on the floor. It's going down.
I love you, kid.
Love you too.
Good night. Love
Good night,
y'all. Take care.
Love y'all.